Hello, everyone. As most of you know, I'm Samantha Paris, founder of Voice Tracks, and I'd like to welcome you to our brand new series. It's called Inside Teacher Tips. And what this is going to be is an ongoing educational series designed to support you Traxers and any other voice actors out there who are wanting to hone your craft and, of course, hello, book jobs. And who better to help you further your careers than VoiceTrack's amazing roster of generous guest directors? Now, I say amazing because they are of the highest pedigree in the professional voiceover world. And of course, generous because they're here with you, with us, here with us today to pay it forward and share a tip. So, of course, here with me, as most of you know, is my right arm and working professional voice actor in her own right, Miss Vicky Baum. Hi, Vicky.
Hi, Samantha. Are you excited?
I am really excited. My hands are all sweaty.
I can't wait. We've been working on this. I can't wait.
And, for everybody out there, you guys, you know how I love contests. You know how I love to give things away. You know I love secrets, even though I can never keep them. But anyway, so when Vicky and I, the whole think tank, when we came up with this idea to do this thing called Teachers Tips, I gave Vicky a wish list of the teachers that I would love to have for this series. And I told her, okay, but I don't want to know. So each time when we do this, I want to be surprised. So that's what, it's like my hands are, I'm really excited. So here's the thing though, Vicky.
Yeah.
You know how a lot of times, like I'll call on the phone and Voice Tracks and you're like, oh my God, Samantha, I knew, right?
Yeah. I just said your name 2 minutes ago and you called.
Yeah. And I called.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is our first one.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, I love all the teachers and stuff like that.
Of course.
But I must admit there's one particular teacher that, if it's not this person, it's like, I'm not gonna be disappointed. I love everyone, but this just has to do with how you and I usually 99.999% of the time are on the same wavelength. So I have a feeling who this first one is, because this person is just so special. And I think I know who it is. So let me see to see if I'm right.
God, the pressure. Oh my God. Okay.
I know, what if it isn't?
Oh my God. And we're gonna have to totally redo this. Okay. Okay, super secret Voice Tracks guest director, reveal yourself.
It's Peter Coyote.
No. I knew it. I knew you were going to have Tommy go first. I knew it.
I mean, duh.
Oh my gosh.
Pinto.
Of course it has to be Tom Pinto.
I love that he said it's Peter Coyote.
Hey, listen,
Hey, I wasn't married to Peter Coyote.
That's right.
This is true.
There we go.
Yeah.
Me and Tommy, circa 1983.
Of
right?
course it's Tom Pinto.
Yes.
Of course
yes.
it is.
1983.
And Tommy, of course you'd pick him because he is iconic. See, goosebumps. I know. Like everything that Voice Tracks is like, it's Pinto. Like, you haven't lived if you haven't been Pintoed. And
right.
And to this day, I'm so excited to hear what your tip is going to be, because here it is all these years later. So what, we met in 1981, I think it was.
Yep, exactly.
Okay. And from the first time I heard you direct back then, it was jaw dropping. Then watching you teach, it's like, wow. And I remember when you then encouraged me to teach, I was like, I have to keep it clean. But I was like, no effing way. But I remember I was always like, you're the teacher. I thought I could never hold a candle to you when it came to teaching.
But you would
And I,
always have in that working pro group that we were part of, people would always say, well, what are you so afraid of? You really directed that person well, but I guess you had to kind of dive into the pool on your own, right?
I did, I guess. But still, the reality is every time I hear you direct, it's like I want to get down on my knees and say, I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy. I tell everyone that the true genius of this industry, when it comes to directing, to teaching, I genuinely in my heart feel nobody, myself included, can hold a candle to Tom Pinto. And so, Vicky, thank you so much for knowing how I feel about Tommy and for having him be first.
Of course.
And I'm just so excited, honey.
Well, okay. This
No pressure, Tom, to be good.
exactly. Raise the game. Well, I think you're going to be happy with my topic. Okay. And it's because it just continues to keep coming up wherever I go. And most importantly, when I have my, chats with casting directors that I'm chummy with, or agents in terms of what's going on, or what's the deal, or with with auditions. And basically they keep saying, if someone is going to submit multiple takes, please, dear God, would you just justify that second take with something that's different? I think there's an inherent problem that we are more invested in our own voices than anyone else. So yeah, we can hear, oh, but I kind of went up a little bit on that word and it's different than that, or oh, I chose a different spot on the microphone like that. But it's, what, to the producer who's busy listening to hundreds of takes and therefore multiply that by two. So if it's 250 people that they have listening times two, 500 takes, man, an incredible challenge in front of them to differentiate, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So I say we've got to make it worth their while. And of course, we all know that it has to be more than, slow, medium, fast, or, soft, middle, and loud. Okay. It's got to be a totally developed character. And I just want to say that in this day and age, 30-second spots, most agents are saying, please submit one. Sometimes there are agents who say, you know what, we'll sift through a second take. And then, of course, there are producers who have said we would like the people to submit more than one take on the 30. Well, yes, that door's been open. But we're mostly looking at a lot of 15s this day. Not only just on broadcast TV, but yes, on social media, which has become the go-to place for people to put their ads on. Because guess what? If you're sitting there, you're on the life cycle, and you're sitting there and you want to have a sports score from ESPN, you've got to sit through an ad now. It's no more of this, ooh, you can forward after 5 seconds. They have somebody captive for 15 seconds. So multiple takes on a 15. There are more than one way to achieve that. And I start with you, Sam. I start with you as you say you got to know who you're talking to. And it shouldn't be the same person on each take. There's more than one. Exactly. There's more than one person that can benefit from that product and service other than your best friend or your loved one. It could be a neighbor down the street. You're not that close to him, but you see him and you begin to talk about, I don't know, lawnmowers, and you begin to interact with him. And depending on who we're talking to, I'm stealing from you here, it affects how we persuade them. Or is it a person persuaded by facts, person persuaded by emotion, person persuaded by, sometimes, if it's humor, all, and when it's appropriate, of course. So I think that is a foundation way to go. Of course, there are other ways to take it. Phrasing. Obviously, your point of view is always going to be different based on who you're talking to. But what I was going to suggest to people is I'm always been big on the visuals. And so I have a little example based on changing the visuals. And you see, I couldn't do this totally off the top of my head. I had to write this down. I have a simple thing for a mock voice tracks ad. And the mock voice track ad is, voice tracks is the place to raise your acting game. Was that boring enough for you guys?
Well, I loved the words, but yeah, it was pretty boring.
Okay. Well, I try to I try to get out of the way of myself in terms of which word I'm emphasizing, up, down, pull back, put in the mic, all that nonsense, because that's too much verbal crap in my head. I say, for example, three scenarios. First scenario is, what if we have, one of the voice tracks brethren, he's sitting there on this commercial, he's juggling. He's juggling while he's doing an ad and he's having a great time. So it's got that whimsical feel and it lends itself to voice tracks is the way to raise your acting game. Operative word raise because of the balls going up in the air.
Mhm.
But we can go further. And I know this, I'm not trying to embarrass you, Sam. You've had so many moments where people have had breakthroughs. And when they're done and they come out of the booth and there's no word spoken and they walk toward you and you get up and you give them a Samantha hug. No words are necessary. For something like that, we're grounded in humanity, in emotion, and we can simply say voice tracks is the place to raise your acting game. We don't have to chew the scenery because otherwise we're stealing the emotional moment that we've seen on camera. All right. But now, okay, not every the fun. People say, but I'm always getting cast to do energy, and I just don't want to go blah 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 blah. Well, think of somebody like Brian Summer doing a character class, and he's trying to get people through all those machinations to come up with those wacky, weird, wonderful characters, whether they're funny or they're demonic and all that. And people are standing up and they're gesticulating like they never have in their life. But it lends itself to confidence and strength and definition. And that way you could say voice tracks is the place to raise your acting game. So there are three examples of different flavors of a tag that you can back into if you just take the time to think visually and spend less time underlining stuff, which brings you a mechanistic read. Because the way I look at it, and I think all of you understand that. I mean, Vicky, you're a working talent, Sam, and so many of the other, guest directors that are going to follow me, I know. Many of them are from the acting community, and they know that it's a crapshoot. Hundreds of people reading for the same thing. So at least, come on, let's make it a calculated crapshoot.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
And that is my tip of the day.
See what I mean, everybody out there?
Come on now.
Come on,
Well,
Tommy, you're amazing. Let me ask you, because you are numero uno for our series. You're also numero uno in my heart.
Hmm.
Um, what would you, how would you say, we've both been teaching forever.
mhm.
How would you say your teaching style has maybe changed from 30 years ago, let's say?
Well, I think from the acting perspective, it forced us when they started saying more celebrities are doing it, we had to be better actors. That's number one.
Mhm.
I also think with the number of people that we had to kind of position ourselves a little bit more. I mean, you and I entered the business at a time where, you had to do little girl voices and you had to do a grandma. Well, we fast forward later on and they're going to go, okay, this, but you're going to do this there. So, society changes, and I think we had to adapt as well. But in terms of my teaching, I just felt like so many people taking so many workshops, different places, not yours. I'm talking about some of the places, and especially after the millennium when Voice Bank opened up stuff and suddenly people across the country that I had never heard of were teaching. And I know some of them are good, but some of them, somebody would send me a demo that they had done, taking a weekend workshop with somebody in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And I just didn't have the heart to say, my God, the demo, you're not ready. You got taken to the cleaners. And so that's where part of my tough love thing came from, is
Mhm.
that I feel my Catholic guilt. I've got to raise their game. They're
Right.
spending great money. But I will tell you, since you opened it up, I would say in the last 5 to 7 years, my teaching has been more acting and storytelling oriented than ever before because of my writing.
Mm.
Ah,
I have finished
Ah,
my third screenplay in 6 years, and I have hooked up with a producer partner, or there's a twosome actually, and I haven't met the other one yet. But we're either going to go screenplay route or we may go limited series type of thing. But I am a better actor because I'm a better writer, and I have more respect for the word, the written word, and I see things more, and I give the writer the benefit of the doubt that he or she has an intent. So instead of just blowing it off and saying, nah, don't worry about that. You know what? Like David Mamet or Aaron Sorkin, I'm not saying me, but they, you work for those guys, and it's like, Sorkin wants you to say, you know, you are not one of those people. That was a thing that Rob Lowe did in response to some woman saying that she was a young Republican. But it's like Rob Lowe talks in his book about the rhythm of saying that 7 times in a row because Sorkin didn't want him to say it six. So I think respect for the language, even in commercials,
mhm.
is that my teaching style, uh, and also because they're asking for real. I mean, real when they can get it, authentic. I mean, we can't be phoning it in. We can't be pretending.
No. And of
So,
course, in a world now with less and less authenticity, it's the very reason why they scream for it in voice acting, you know. Um,
yeah.
people don't want to be talked at. People want to share. They want to talk with
Yeah.
somebody or
And are
listen
you
to somebody.
surprised? I'm sorry, we're off the tip, but I want to ask you this question. Either of you. I listen a lot to Sirius radio, okay? Political stuff, but there's talk shows and things like that, and the music. But on the talk shows, they have commercials. It's not commercial free.
Mhm.
I am blown away at the number of ads that I hear that sound like they could have been written in 1965. And it's like, we're still doing this? We're still, type of thing. People that are marketing new products, it's like they go back to retail 101. So
Yeah.
I think there are some mixed messages going on for
Yeah.
some talent out there who say, be real, be real, be real. But I just heard a guy do a spot and he repeated the phone number 5 times.
I'm
And it's
just
like,
thinking that.
Yeah.
no, that's not what we're doing here for you. We want to, for the higher paying jobs, you're not going to be repeating the phone number 5 times. Take that
Exactly.
to the bank,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly. Well, I could just sit here and talk with you forever, but we have limited
I
amount of
I
time,
am
I guess.
flattered. I'm glad it was a surprise.
It really was.
It's hard because she's got those instincts, and the more you work with somebody, after a while, you kind of are in mind meld on that. But I think this is going to be great. With some of these, all these other directors coming in, throwing their 2 cents in, and kind of a nice value added thing that you guys are providing, for people on social media. So,
Well, thank you for your generosity. Thank you for your love and friendship for more than half of both of our lives, I think. It's getting there.
yes,
Trying to think. You're right.
it
Yeah,
is
yeah,
for
yeah.
me.
Yeah, me
Uh
too.
oh. Uh oh.
I know. Right. I
No,
love you so much. And if I don't talk to you, both of us are wishing you a happy, happy holiday.
thank you, and thank you for everything that you guys do for us, and especially during COVID, really without skipping a beat. And the side benefit is that so many people who eventually were going to have to learn how to set up something out of their home and do this technology and everything else, like, they're ahead of the game. What's the necessity is the mother of invention?
Yeah,
Well,
that's right.
here we
That's right.
go.
There we go.
Thanks, Tommy. Thanks for
All
being
right.
numero uno.
You're welcome. All right. Bye bye, you guys.
Bye.